First, assalamu alaikum. Second, thank you, Mr. Talal, for the introduction. For about 11 years in my career, I've spent it giving a lot of technical presentations and talking about whether it's reservoir engineering or way to drill or how to frack or this time in AAPG I'm doing a very light, not technical presentation. It's more on the fun side, so trying to spare you guys the technical work, do it in a fun way. Obviously, but you probably, for those that heard about Husaak, you probably think it's a tourism company. We do adventures, and that's what we focused on. Actually, at the core of the business, really rely on geology, rely on the rocks, and rely on what the earth has given us. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what is geotourism? For many people, they think geotourism, it's books and rocks. We've actually made geotourism fun, which is how it looks like. Geotourism is your ability today to take, to utilize the land while preserve it and make people appreciate it. People will only appreciate and protect things they experience. I can tell you about, this formation and that formation, but until you touch it, until you go there and you see it, until you see nature, this is when you actually, really have a real appreciation for it. So, while everybody thinks that geotourism, there's different approaches to it. Think about it this way. We've actually taken a completely different approach to geotourism and made it fun for the younger generation. We created a relatively fun narratives, which we'll talk about a bit, and how can we use the earth, the story of the land, to impact and affect people. So, what is the approach that we've taken? I'm going to focus. We've been focusing on the Arabian Peninsula. And I'll have to say, the narratives in the Arabian Peninsula has been looked at historically, either from a resources point of view. So people came in for oil and gas, which is just like you guys and me at one point. Looked at the geology, looked at the stuff of how can we utilize the resources of that ground. So there's a lot of narratives in that way, but we've never really looked at it from the fun way, the story of the land, the story of the people, the story of the flora and fauna. This is kind of where Husaak came in and tried to change that over the last 14 years. So we've been for 14 years in the business. If you recognize, this is the map of Oman, obviously. We've categorized Oman into 8 different clusters. For those that obviously from Oman, they know Muscat, Western Hajar, Eastern Hajar, Al-Wusta and the Wahiba sand. Al-Wusta, which is probably a lot of you guys, if you are in the geology world, have looked at this heavily, because that's where all the outcrops and all the formations are out there. Yeah, and then Dhafar and Musandam. We've actually been focused a lot more on the Eastern and Western Hajar, and this is where the geology is off the ground. This is where the mountains are off the ground. This is where you can see things and touch them and see the different formation, but we presented it in a different way. You probably recognize this guy. He's in the room with us. This is the story of the land, yeah. And Dr. Muhammad Al-Kindi, is he around here? He's also, this is a person. So one of the things that, unfortunately I don't have it with me, but we'll be able to send you maybe an electronic version, is the Oman newsletter. The Oman newsletter that we created, and it's been given, it will be distributed to the public for free. It's made geology fun. It gave people a chance to look at the story of this part of the world in a completely different lens. Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys, I would say we and you, when we do technical paperwork, for us it's fun. But if you give it to an average person, he'll look at it. He will not understand a word. Yeah. So the point is, how can I now make it a fun place? Even kids can look at this and look at the errors, and they say, oh wow, 540 million. This was the error. So making it very simple, and then creating stories of the land, the caves of Selma Plateau. Why were they formed the way they're formed? Why did they, become the way they are right now? Not just in the form of literature. We actually created videos. So, so we'll play one video right now, which we've been working on, again, with the help of geoscientists like Dr. John and others, At the previous geological column, we had Dr. Muhammad Al-Kindi that helped us with it. So we're trying to make science and make it into fun. So can we play that video?
Oman's Al-Hajar Mountains climbed to 3,000 meters in height. But did you know that these high mountains were once deep under the sea? In the Cretaceous period, about 100 million years ago, 2 plates of the Earth's surface, one made up of ocean crust and mantle, and the other the continental plate of Arabia, collided under the now extinct Tethys Sea. This ocean crust and mantle together known as ophiolite, rose above and onto the continental plate of Oman and formed the spectacular Al-Hajar Mountains. As these two tectonic plates pushed against each other, they also gathered sediments from deep in the ocean. Like a bulldozer pushing dirt or sand in front of it, that became deposited over the continental crust. The eastern Hajar Mountains also received more seafloor sediments around 10 million years ago due to the separate geological events. Much of this sediment turned into limestone. Limestone is a very porous rock, and over the years much of it was eroded. One of the ways it was eroded was by water. That seemingly gentle substance can create yawning caves, wadis and sinkholes in limestone by mixing with carbon dioxide in the air and soil to create carbonic acid. This carbonic acid drips through the limestone, creating wider, larger gaps and holes as it moves, creating these surreal sculptures by dripping and depositing material inside caves. All this giving an amazing lunar landscape, sinkholes to admire, caves for us to explore, and wadis to play in.
Thank you. I always tell my team, and when we start doing something, I want something that an 8-year-old will understand, not something that somebody like who has a geoscience background understand, because that's how you can have the maximum reach to the people, and that's how you can get people to start thinking about this and actually inspire them to get into the earth and science world. Now, this is theory. This is nice. We're making newsletter, we're making videos, but on the ground, how are we actually changing people's life when it comes to the earth and science or the geoscience world? And this is where we went into another dimensions, which is the unconventional classroom. Yep, it's not about tight gas, and it's not about high pressure, high temperature wells. This is now just students. How can we now prepare a new generation of students that they come out of university ready to be thrown out in the field? This was what the second approach of this talk about the unconventional classroom. The unconventional classroom was a program that we started in 2018 with King Fahd University. This was, I think, about 6 years ago. And since then, we've gotten more than 600 students over this program. It started as a 2-week program to take geoscience students. But at the beginning, it was petroleum engineers, geologists. Then it got extended to the mining engineering. They spent 2 weeks in the field looking actually at, it's not just purely geology, it's geology, it's adventure, it's giving them that confidence, giving them that, I've seen enough in my career, kids coming out of college thinking that the oil and gas world is, he goes there, sit in an office and write a report, and then all of a sudden they're sitting there on a rig, whether in the Arctic or in a desert somewhere, and they're like, what happened here? How, this is, so rather than wait for that shock to be happening after they leave their, their let's say, getting their degree from university, we're preparing them to be more well-rounded and ready for that tough industry that a lot of you guys are part of it, yeah? So this is what this program is all about. I'm gonna play you a video rather than, talk to you about the program.
Story that started 7 years ago. In 2017, the King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, KPPM, partnered with Husaak Adventures. In the summer of 2018, we exposed 50 of our students in an exceptional outdoor setting and tested their real-world skills. Over the years, hundreds of our students have been part of this transformative experience. For the next 4 weeks, 140 of our students are going on an epic journey across Oman.
Our college did something amazing.
I honestly think being outside is way more exciting than being in the classroom.
I never expected to hike the highest mountain in Oman.
The lectures in front of the mountains, the rocks, the information directly gonna go inside your mind.
Touch the things that you learn.
Oh, I'm actually learning as I'm looking, and I'm actually invested in learning the material. And this trip proved that teamwork is even more important than working by yourself.
Amazing and special, and we got the first place.
And believe me, it's real, and you will see it, and you will feel it.
Push them out of their comfort zone and inspire and empower them. They will see the world in a completely new light and leave with a renewed sense of purpose. This land ended up introducing our students to themselves.
Thank you. To be honest with you, again, we showed you the boys video. This program is available for both males and females. The last one, we've had about 140 students plus 20 faculties. We've done a whole month non-stop between Oman and the south of Saudi Arabia. So we've taken them and showing them the different parts of the peninsula. As I said, the program objectives actually goes beyond just the students, goes beyond than just the learning and preparing them for the industry. There is another complete different side that we probably especially for you guys on the geoscience side, you're not seeing it, which is the in-country value. Tourism always brings this sustainable in-country value to it. And if you think about it, these programs happen in the summer in an area where it's hot. A lot of these guys don't have jobs, these tour guides, these adventure guides. This provides a continuous opportunity for these guys now to have a career within the tourism industry, these programs with universities, yeah? Think about all not just the guides, the hotels, the car rental places, when they're on downtime, more of these programs, especially in the summer, where we actually take people to a very pleasant weather because we use the mountains high up. You're utilizing part of the sector that is considered, this is their dead time. You're giving them an opportunity. You're making this sector a lot more sustainable than it really is, Hotels, F&B, all of that, you get to move it in the summer, where generally in the past they just sat there and became a skeleton. As I said, we can talk about this a lot more. It's about first-hand experience. It's about independence and leadership for the students. It's teaching them the safety, introducing that safety culture to them. Oil and gas, we're crazy about safety. Without safety, we cannot function this industry with live hydrocarbons and high pressure and high temperature. Giving that to the students at that first level in the mountains, wearing their helmets, their boots, getting that as a culture, that was one of the things that we focused on in the program. Being prepared, the multidisciplinary one team, work, and the importance of teamwork. I think with this, I will leave it and make it long. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is introduce a new generation of PEs, REs, mining engineers to the industry, from the region, learning from the region, learning from here, you know. Me and you, we went to Colorado School of Mines. We did similar programs, yeah? We brought this program now to, you know, to this part of the world where, you know, can you learn the land, the story of the land, the story of the people, the story of the wildlife, and the story of adventure. Thank you very much.